Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church, and I'm here today to share another verse with you, this time from Psalm 145. And as I said yesterday, I'm going to be talking about this psalm and looking at some of the unique aspects of it. And today I want to read verse 14. It's real simple, it's real short, and it says this: The Lord helps the fallen and lifts those bent beneath their loads. The Lord helps the fallen and lifts those bent beneath their loads. What's the picture that you get from that verse? I see someone who is struggling with life, either a task of carrying something literally, or just living amidst all of the pressures that come on to you and to me or anyone else. It's really interesting when you think about the contrast between this life and the life yet to come. And this life is really tough. If you've struggled in the past or are struggling now, you know life is not a picnic. While most of it tends to run fairly smooth for most people, it doesn't all run smooth. And for some, it seems to never run smoothly. Why is it that life is like that? Now, if you're one of those who've never had many problems in your lifetime, you might find it hard to understand what the opposite would be like. I know I've lived in places where people struggle just for the bare necessities. And I'm not talking about cable television or a smartphone. I'm talking about food and clothing. I've been to places where people understood how harsh life is and could be. And here in our world and where we live, we got a lot of things to make life simpler. I just looking around my office here, I got more stuff in this office than most people in half of the world will ever dream of having. And some of my stuff are just ornamental decoration kinds of things, little this or that that somebody's given to me as a gift of appreciation. They'll never have any of that. Now, I'm not just comparing this verse to those folks, but for you and for me who work hard and try to do the right thing, and try to live a decent life, and it's still difficult at times. It doesn't really matter how big you are physically or how strong you are mentally. Life, this world, really doesn't care whether you succeed or whether you fail. But the Lord does. Amazingly so. Ever since he kicked Adam and Eve out of the garden, literally or figuratively, doesn't matter to me, and man has had to work, God has watched over us, and he's watching now over you. If it doesn't feel like it, okay, I accept that, but he's still watching over you. And the thing is that the harder life gets, the more God works to lift you up. This verse, it's really got two pieces to it. It says he helps the well, the Lord helps the fallen. I get it. Sorry about the glasses. He helps the fallen. These are people who have been beaten down once or twice. These are the people who normally things went well, and then suddenly they didn't. Maybe it's a sudden illness. Maybe it's a sudden death. Maybe it's a loss of something. Maybe it's a catastrophe that came through and all your pipes burst. The heat went out or something. Maybe it's something little, maybe it's something small, but it says that he helps the fallen. And he also lifts up those who are bent beneath their loads. These are folks who are not just falling one time. They have fell and fell and fell to the point where they're bent over and they don't think they're going to make it. Now, I hope you're not in that situation. You could be. And if you are, then this verse particularly ought to be encouraging to you. See, I think the Bible is full of encouragement. Yes, it guides us, and yes, it tells us when we're wrong. But it's more than that. It's the words of a loving God who reaches out to those who are in need. And if today you find yourself in need, however that might be and whatever that might entail, God is trying to lift you up. And the more you get bent over, I envision this person barely able to straighten up because the load on the shoulders is just so heavy. To that person, God kind of grabs you on the front and pushes you back up because he doesn't want you to live a life that's bent over and crushed. If that is your life today, God wants to change it. And all he really needs is for you to give him permission to do that. He won't violate your choice, your will. But wherever we find ourselves tomorrow, the next day, day after, whenever that point comes when life becomes really tough, we have the assurance, we have the promise, we have the absolute knowledge that God will help you lift that load and not leave you alone. Well, I hope you'll think about that. If you have a need or a concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. And tomorrow I'll be back and share a little more from this psalm of how God lifts the burdens of those who are crushed. Take care. Call me if you need anything. I'll talk to you again.